Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds. So this is where I like to collect together all the different things that I've purchased over the past week and present it to you. I get it from different places like my local record store, but also online retail like Amazon, eBay, and more. Lots of different things here today. I've got a massive 10 CD box set from The Who. I've got 8 additional CDs to break down and run through with you, and so we'll do that here in just a bit. We'll dive into all 9 of those. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it, of course. And, as an added bonus, if you turn on notifications, you're gonna stay up to date on really cool episodes just like this, where I run through all the stuff that I got, hopefully giving you some insight into not only what I listen to, but maybe stuff that you might be interested to as well. So as I mentioned, the big thing that came out was this massive 10 CD, 1 Blu-ray, 11 disc box set by The Who. Of course, celebrating their classic 1971 album, Who's Next? So look at this thing. I've done a full unboxing of it, so I'm not going to open it up here for you guys, but this thing has 132 tracks on it, 89 of which are previously unreleased. I think something like 59, can't remember the exact number, are remixed by Steven Wilson. If you're a big fan of the Steven Wilson remixes like I am, it's great to get his hand involved in all of this stuff here. Tons and tons of unreleased demos, outtakes, different sessions. This is the Who's Next Lifehouse box set. If you don't know about Lifehouse, that is the aborted project that the album Who's Next grew out of. So there was tons and tons of material because that was meant to be a rock opera. It was going to be a follow-up concept album to Tommy, but it ultimately was abandoned, and then they released this massive box set. And I gotta say, I'm super excited with this thing. The sound of it is great. The quality is great. Lots of cool things, memorabilia-wise, concert posters, tour books, pins, you name it. There's some cool stuff inside here, but it's all really cool. What I did really like too is that this comes with a graphic novel. So Lifehouse was supposed to have had a movie made about the storyline, and now that is done through the graphic novel. So it's almost like they're bringing it full circle and seeing the thing through. I bet Pete is really happy after more than 50 years to actually have that finally get done. There is a 2 CD edition of it if you don't want to spend the money on that monster box set. It was $257 that I paid through Amazon, but for 11 discs, I felt it was worth it for me. But if that's too rich for your blood, 2 CD edition of it here. You get the album itself remastered, and then you get a selections of from the box. 12 tracks on here, so you get a little bit of everything. You get stuff from the Record Plant sessions in New York. You get Pete Townsend demos on here. You get the Sound Studios in London sessions, and you also get a bunch of live recordings as well, because there's 2 live shows included in that box. So whether you're coming at it from a standpoint of you're a studio guy like me or you're a live person, you got all that stuff on it, so it's very cool. But like I said, there is a full review and unboxing for that, and I'll leave a link in the description. You can check it out that way. Another album that I did a full review of, but apparently not many people were interested in it. Barely got any views, unfortunately. Pretenders, Relentless. I think that's a great album. It's not, their typical stuff. I did talk about it in my review. It's a much more mellow affair than some of their previous records and things, but it has grown on me, and I have really enjoyed it. So that came out. That was another new one. There's a lot of archival stuff that came out this past week. I mean, you get the box set. You did get that new Pretenders album, and you got a brand new Ronnie Romero album. This one's called Too Many Lies, Too Many Masters, with original material. If you've been following Ronnie Romero's career, he has done 2 solo albums already, but those were cover albums. And so finally, he's doing his own album here. I mean, we all know that he's done so many different projects, fronting for like Elegant Weapons, which is the project with Richie Faulkner. He was part of Vandenberg. He's just done a lot of different things, of course, coming from Rainbow even. But I gotta say, this album here is where it's at. If you liked Vandenberg, you thought that thing was really good, check this out. You're gonna love this. This is a smoking hot album. Definitely vying for one of the top positions on my countdown at the end of the year. I was just blown away by this thing. And I didn't have a lot of high hopes. I've kind of been burnt out on Ronnie Romero as of late, but he's bringing it back, man. If he goes more in the direction of doing original stuff like this and not moving around from band to band, maybe settling down a bit, I think he could actually win back all the amazing fans that he has, because his vocals really are top notch. I mean, he's one of the best vocalists out there in my opinion. This is one that I talked about in the What Just Dropped episode from a week ago. It's Iggy Pop Rare Tracks, and I was a little hesitant on this because it's on the Cleopatra label, but I gave it a listen, and in fact the sound quality on this is really good. It's got all kinds of alternate editions and outtakes from The Idiot, and we've got stuff from Party, and the cool thing, there's Steve Jones demos that are on here, and there's Rick Ocasek sessions demos that are on here as well. So stuff that's unreleased as well as alternate editions from past albums. But going back in his career from when he first released solo album in '77 up through about '85 or so, lots of cool stuff. And just take a peek inside because you do get some stuff to read in there. Normally you don't get, you know, any kind of history stuff. So I'm not sure who owns the right to that stuff, because I don't think Iggy Pop was involved in it. Usually the stuff that gets released through Cleopatra is not officially sanctioned, although it's officially released because whoever had the rights did license it to them. But yeah, it's great. So if you're an Iggy Pop fan, highly recommend that. And this was really cool. So those What Just Dropped episodes, I keep finding things in them each week. Here's one thing. I'm a fan of Slade. I didn't know they went back to all the way to '69. This is their first album called Beginnings, when they released it under the name Ambrosia Slade. And so they've recreated that artwork here, just like the vinyl edition of it. But it's in this cool, you know, ebook, media book, whatever they call it. So I think it's like a 12-page booklet with some cool stuff, and the CD in the back. Definitely sounds 60s. It is not the kind of Slade that we know, the party rock and stuff, but I actually really liked it. I enjoyed it. So you know, it just depends on the mood that you're in, but I was totally digging it, so I was glad to see that. And then this one I wasn't gonna do, but I don't know, I just thought, why not? It was like 10 bucks. I threw it in the cart, went ahead and ordered it. Headcat, their second album, Walk the Walk, Talk the Talk. It came out, I want to say in 2008, I think it originally came out. I could be wrong, but definitely not as far back as I thought. So in 1999, Lemmy from Motorhead, Slim Jim Phantom from the Stray Cats, and Danny Harvey, I could be getting the name wrong, another rockabilly guitar player, all got together, and they had some extra studio time, and they were doing a tribute album, and they made one song, and they decided, hey, we did that so quick, why don't we use the rest of the studio time to flesh out a bunch more? And ultimately got released as an album, but they just put it out under their names. Fast forward years later, they renamed themselves Headcat and go into the studio and actually cut a real second album, not just goofing around the studio like they were that first time. And in the interim between all that, the first time Lemmy was playing acoustic guitar, so it didn't have that Motorhead sound. Well, this does. This has Lemmy on his Rickenbacker bass, running it through whichever kind of amp he does it through, but it gets it that cool distorted sound. And this is great. It's got two originals, but it's got classic 1950s era rock, rockabilly, you know, style songs revved up like Motorhead essentially would do. I just think it's great. If you're a Motorhead fan, I think you're going to really dig this. So I highly recommend checking this out. 11 tracks on it. This is a reissue. They put together a really nice package on it. And yeah, so that was a surprise to me. And then I picked up through eBay a couple instrumental albums from Greg Howe. So I had recently just picked up his Howe 2 band project that he did, which is the last name Howe and the number 2 after it, because his brother Al Howe was also in it. He was the vocalist, Greg was the singer. And those two albums were phenomenal. And so I thought, man, I need to check out some solo Greg Howe. And so I picked up the debut album, just self-titled, On Shrapnel. Got that. Good stuff. And then I picked this one up from, I think, 1994 is the release of this one here, Uncertain Times. I was kind of trying to get the album that came before and the album that came after. There is an album from 1993, but I didn't find that one. I got this one here. And both of these are great stuff. I know all you guys out there, you're not instrumental guitar fanatics the way I am, but I love a really good instrumental guitar album, a shred album. And these two do it here. So I kind of lucked out. I got a bunch of cool things across the board that really floated my boat with stuff. I got, you know, classic rock stuff. I got some cool guitar shred stuff. I got some stuff with, you know, Lemmy from Motorhead. This cool reissue here from Ambrosia Slade. I love it when packages get recreated like that, because they had reissued this under just the Slade name, but now it's finally back out under Ambrosia Slade. So all in all, very cool. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. As I said, I did full reviews for the Who box set and the Pretenders album. I'm going to leave links to both of those in the description if you want to check that stuff out. Otherwise, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know the things that you picked up this past week, what it is that you're digging and listening to right now. All right, everyone, take care, have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.